afternoon, everyone. Today I am going to discuss one topic regarding the hematology, that is white blood cells. Actually, I should have taken this particular topic before immunity, but as I have already discussed that first I had to complete the immunity topic and then I have to conduct the session on white blood cells. So today we are going to see regarding the white blood cells, and this is how we are going to discuss. First, what we are going to discuss is what exactly are WBCs, what are different types of WBC, what are their normal values, the formation, morphological features, functions of WBC, lifespan of WBC, what are the different pathological variations, metabolism of WBC, and at the end we are going to summarize it. Now this particular topic is as such there is no concept of understanding here, but it is very important topic related to your exam point of view. Very commonly a question is asked on this, the types, the formation, the functions of WBC, the normalities of the WBC. These are the very common questions which are asked, and it is a very important question of practicals again. So on the WBC practicals, this is the thing which is in the Viva. These are the questions which are asked in the Viva also. And those who are interested in doing some super specialty in hematology, then of course you have to understand this particular topic very clearly. So let us discuss what exactly it is. Now, these were the two scientists who discovered these WBC, Gabriel Andrel, a French professor, and William Addison, an English doctor. Both of them reported first time the description of WBC, and how they reported that when the blood was kept in a test tube, they were showing that it was seen that erythrocytes were settling down. So it was having a red color, and the plasma was shifted upwards, which is yellowish colored. And in between these two, there was a buffy coat which was seen, and this buffy coat was first identified by these two persons. And this buffy coat was due to the presence of leukocytes and the platelets. It was very small, actually less than 1% of the whole blood. So in between these two, the erythrocytes and plasma, the first time they reported that some buffy coat is there, and that may be due to the presence of leukocytes and platelets, which they further discovered. Now these leukocytes are known as mobile units of body's defense system, and how they are going to do this function is that as they are mobile, they will seek that particular point where they are required, and then they will try to destroy the invading microorganism. So generally the abnormal cells will be destroyed, and they will try to clean up the cellular debris also by the process of phagocytosis, and due to this function they are assisting in the repair of the injury. Each WBC will be having a specific function. Now these WBCs are classified into basically two broad categories, granulocytes and agranulocytes. Now these granules are present in cytoplasm, and these granules will be of two types, primary granules and secondary granules. The primary granules are eosinophilic and the secondary are specific granules. The primary granules are less numerous, they are large in size, reddish purple, and they will contain the enzyme myeloperoxidase and acid hydrolase. Whereas the secondary granules will be most numerous, they are small, having pinkish hue, and due to that they are not easily seen. So these two types of granules will be present in the granulocytes, and these granulocytes are named by the presence of granules in their cytoplasm, and the color of the granules will be deciding the three types. There are three types of granulocytes: neutrophils, eosinophil, and basophil. The second category of the WBC is agranulocyte. The white blood cells which do not contain granules in their cytoplasm are called as agranulocytes, and they are further again divided into two categories, monocytes and lymphocytes. So how do you classify these? Broadly two categories, granulocyte, agranulocyte. Granulocytes will be three types: neutrophil, eosinophil, and basophil, whereas agranulocyte will be of two types: monocyte and lymphocyte. Now, what are the normal counts of these? In adult, it is around 4,000 to 11,000 per cubic millimeter of blood, whereas in children it is somewhat more, and as the age advances, it goes on decreasing and achieves the adult level. So if you compare the infants up to 1 year of age, it is around 6,000 to 16,000. Then the children at 8 to 12 years, it is around 4,500 to 13,500. And then afterward, it reaches the adult value. You have to remember all these values because these are the physiological variations due to age which are seen in total leukocyte count. Now, what are the normal percentage? You know that there are 5 types of WBC. The most numerous type of WBC found is neutrophil. It is around 45 to 75%. Whereas the next one is lymphocyte, which is 20 to 40%. The least is basophil, which is less than 3%. The monocyte being 1 to 10% and eosinophil less than 7%. Now, you have to follow the latest versions of Guyton and Cannon for the normal values, because these questions are very commonly asked in the as and Viva question also, and in the MCQs might be asked on this particular topic. So for the values, you have to always follow the latest versions of your books. Now, how these WBCs are formed? The process of development and maturation of white blood cells is called as leukopoiesis, and this is a part of hemopoiesis. So all blood cells which we know that they are forming from the pluripotent hemopoietic stem cell. So part of that is leukopoiesis. This leukopoiesis is again divided into two types. It is forming granulocytes and monocytes, that is separately, and the formation of lymphocyte, which is known as lymphopoiesis, is separate. So there are two processes of leukopoiesis. Now, formation of granulocytes and monocytes we are going to discuss first. The granulocytes and monocytes are formed from the bone marrow, which is derived from the colony forming unit granulocyte and monocyte. So these, if you remember your lectures on the erythrocyte, you might have discussed regarding the erythropoiesis process itself, that there are some cells which are having a particular function, and these units of cells are known as colony forming units. So this is a colony of cells which is having a particular function of developing a specific cell. So here, this colony will be forming the granulocyte and monocyte. These progenitor cells are forming the different cells which are further named as granulocyte, that is neutrophil forming units, eosinophil forming units, basophil forming units, and monocyte forming units. So each of the progenitor cell will be again having a specific cell at the end. The development of granulocyte, that is in stages it is occurring, and that particular series is known as myeloid series, whereas the development of monocyte, it is also in different stages, and that is known as monocyte macrophage series. Now, how this myeloid series is occurring? As we have already seen that it occurs in stages, it takes around 12 days. The granulocytes are formed. Their mature granulocytes will be formed, but they will not be released. They will be stored in the bone marrow. Whenever needed, then only they will be released in the circulation. So that's it. This is how the myeloid series is occurring, and these are the cells which are there. So what we have is a committed stem cell. From that you will get myeloblast, promyelocyte, metamyelocyte. Then you will get band neutrophil, and finally you will be getting the mature neutrophil. So this is how the myeloid series is going on. And this is regarding again the same granulopoiesis which is occurring. So you can understand in this particular figure a better different colors are given, trying to achieve the actual colors. So what we have is again myeloid stem cell, myeloblast, promyelocyte, myelocyte, metamyelocyte, band form, and granulocyte. Now, if you consider on these particular figure, what we can notice is the size goes on decreasing. You concentrate on the size itself, so it goes on decreasing. If you see the nucleolus and nuclei, now concentrate on these again. So first the nucleolus is larger, that then it goes on decreasing, decreasing. Then the size of the nucleus is also changing. So the circular nucleus finally becomes band form and then it becomes lobules. So there will be in the mature granulocytes, if you observe, there are lobes of nuclei. Okay, and then at some point in the division, there is appearance of granules, which are not seen previous stage. So there will be appearance of granules, and these granules will be finally changed into the final mature cells. So this is how the granulopoiesis is occurring. Now this is an actual figure, blood cell picture, microscopic nature of the promyelocyte, myelocyte and myeloblast cells. So of course this is a very difficult identification, and this is the slide which I have taken from our cancer department. So there you have the hematologist, hemato-oncologist posted there, and many a times these types of investigations are required by them. So I have taken from them to show you how these cells are actually looking like. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to identify these cells. Now, this is the macrophage series. Here, what happens is myeloid stem cell will be divided into myelomonoblast, and then there will be promonocyte. If it is secreted in the blood, it is known as monocyte, and if it is released into the tissues, then it is known as macrophage. So there are two types of cells in this monocyte macrophage series. You have these blood circulating monocytes, and in the tissue we will be having macrophages, and both of them are from myeloid stem cells. The formation of lymphocyte is the second part of the leukocytosis, leukopoiesis, and these lymphocytes are again formed from the stem cells which are present in the bone marrow, and there will be formation of two types of lymphocytes, T lymphocytes and B lymphocyte. If the processing is occurring in thymus, then there will be formation of T lymphocyte. After the sensitization of antigens, these T lymphocytes will be matured and they will be forming the lymphoblast cells, and cell-mediated immune system will be activated. Whereas in animals there is a bursa of Fabricus, but in human beings the B lymphocytes will be formed in the liver and the bone marrow itself, and the cell will be formed and it will be converted into plasma cell, which is responsible for humoral immune system. So this is how the lymphopoiesis is occurring. Now, as we have discussed that these are the bone marrow and thymus is the primary lymphopoietic organ, whereas the lymphoid stem cell is undergoing spontaneous division independent of antigen stimulation. So these stem cells, they don't require any stimulation by the antigen. So they will directly form the T lymphocyte. But the tissue which actively produce the lymphocyte from the germinal centers as a secondary part, these are known as reactive lymphoid tissue. So they will be producing the lymphocyte, but as a response to antigenic stimuli. And these tissues are lymph node, the spleen, and the gut aligned lymphoid tissue. So these are the three parts where the secondary which are known as secondary reactive lymphoid tissue, and they will also contribute to the formation of lymphocytes. So this is how it is occurring: lymphopoiesis, lymphoid stem cell, lymphoblast, lymphocyte, and plasma cells. So this is the process of lymphopoiesis. Now these lymphocytes will be again of two types: small lymphocytes and large lymphocytes. So two types of lymphocytes will be seen. I hope whenever you will be able to attend the practicals, you will be actually seeing all these cells. The lymphocyte, if they are maturing in the thymus, they will produce the T lymphocyte, whereas the B lymphocytes will be matured and activated from liver and the bone marrow. Now, this is one important factor which nowadays has been described that always try to remember the recent facts which are discovered. So this is one of the recent facts that according to this latest Japanese research, a full ripe banana with dark patches on the yellow skin. It produces a substance which is known as TNF, the tumor necrosis factor, which has the ability to combat the abnormal cells. The more darker the patches, it has the higher its immunity enhancement quality. Hence, the riper the banana, the better the anti-cancer quality. The yellow skin banana with dark spots on it is 8 times more effective in enhancing the property of white blood cells than a green skin version. So eating just one banana a day increases immunity. So by this, just adding, just for your information, that not an apple, but eating one banana also increases immunity. And nowadays, improvement of immunity is a must health process. So you can have these type of fruits, and whenever you are taking fruit, then you have to make sure that these are the things which you have to follow. So this was just an additional fact which you should know. How the process of leukopoiesis is regulated. It is a mechanism to control the production and release of leukocytes. Generally, whenever there is tissue injury and inflammation, the bacterial toxins are released and they cause a great increase in the rate of production and release of leukocytes. So when needed, they will be released, and when needed, the production will be increased. The substances which stimulate these processes are complex, and one of these is like this. So you have the dead cells, they will release these factors, the colony stimulating factors, and they will stimulate the bone marrow to form these cells. And then by feedback, they will the counts will be inhibited again and will try to maintain at a normal range. So this is how the regulation of the leukopoiesis is occurring. How the metabolism of leukocyte is occurring? It is generally having the aerobic glycolysis, so it requires air, and it active pentose phosphate pathway is the pathway by which it is occurring. During the phagocytosis of bacteria, there is an increase in the oxygen consumption. So it is requiring oxygen, and it is known as respiratory burst because it requires more amount of oxygen. And superoxide radicals are formed. So due to the metabolism of this extra amount of oxygen, the radicals which are known as free radicals, they are formed and they are involved in the killing of bacteria. These phagocytic leukocyte, they use the NADPH as a substrate for the NADPH oxidase enzyme, and this contributes to the killing of ingested microorganisms. So the reaction will occur through these pathway, and this will try to help and killing of microorganisms. So these are the free radicals. Now these active leukocytes, now we know that free oxygen radical is formed, H2O2 is formed, and these are the free radicals which are helping in the destruction of bacteria. But they will be accumulated and they will surround the tissues in the areas of inflammation. Now these again are harmful to the body. So you have to protect the body against the toxic effect of these free radicals. And for that, again, the body will have the antioxidant enzymes. And the antioxidant enzymes are superoxide dismutase, catalase, and glutathione peroxidase. So whenever there is inflammation, these are the things by metabolism these will occur. So if you are having infection, the WBCs will be utilized. They will have more amount of oxygen. They will produce free radicals. But again, the free radicals will be dangerous for our body. And to combat these free radicals, you have to have the normal antioxidant enzymes. So this is the metabolism which is continuously occurring. Now, I think this particular part, from this particular part onwards, I will record another video because this morphology part again and with the pathological variation is again very important part, and making if I'm including this part in this particular video, the video will be a larger video. So instead of that, I will stop here and I will record another video So you can watch that particular video in continuation, and afterwards it will be easier for you to understand also. So I will continue in the next session regarding the morphology of the WBCs. Thank you.